What's going on, everybody? Chris here from Friendly Frenzy Games, here to share with you a brief overview of Diablo 4's first Capstone Dungeon, the Cathedral of Light in Kyovashad. So you're going to first want to complete this dungeon at your own pace, and when you feel like you're ready to make the next step for increased experience and more powerful loot. The caveat to this, obviously, is more difficult enemies. This dungeon isn't available until you've completed the main campaign, and it is recommended that you're level 50 before attempting it, but it can also be attempted at any level once the campaign has been completed. We did this dungeon at level 47, so basically right after we completed the campaign, and we tried out the Whispering Tree favor system, which is also a new feature in Diablo 4 to help you progress through its endgame. To locate this dungeon, you're going to want to head to the priority quest map marker to the north of Kyovashad and enter the cathedral. Be prepared for a bit of a challenge. This is really to prepare you for tier 3 after all. What we would recommend, if possible, and obviously with hindsight as well, is to have your gear upgraded through the blacksmith if you haven't already done so. We hadn't at the time. This really does give you the best chance at survival. This dungeon also follows a very similar suit to previous dungeons if you've completed any of these. Really, what you're going to be doing is completing a few sets of objectives. I think we had 2 or 3. This is going to take you through different stages of the dungeon. You're also, though, going to kill 2 bosses instead of the typical one kind of at the end there. The monsters inside are also higher level than the typical scale. I believe all of the monsters in this dungeon start at about level 50. As opposed to, you know, kind of a 2-level leeway there, but I think all in all it took us about 25 minutes to complete. Some of our stages we collected and deposited Animus. We killed the High Council afterwards. The next area had us slaying all of the enemies in a given area, and then we defeated the Curator at the end. For fighting the High Council, the boss fight, we would recommend focusing your efforts on the Sacred Physician first. As you can see here, we didn't do that. We spent a lot of unnecessary time here. The main idea behind focusing on the Sacred Physician first is because he has the ability to heal his party, and he can also resurrect them. Mind you, they come back with minimal health. It is just kind of one more add that you have to deal with. So definitely focusing efforts on him first to kind of get that healer out of the way early would be something that you can kind of do to make your run a little bit more efficient here. Lastly, really, is the Curator. The final boss fight before completing the dungeon isn't really overly difficult. As with many bosses, once you learn the attacks and kind of get good at avoiding the ground damage, you can grind him down fairly easily. It is sometimes a little bit longer of a fight here depending on how much damage you're able to do, but it's not overly complicated provided you're able to stick to it. One thing that we did notice though is if you're in a party, you are able to be revived in the fight, and this helps you maintain your progress. However, if your entire party is killed at the same time, you're going to have to start the Curator fight from the very beginning again, so he will not maintain any of the damage that you've done to him previously. A cool feature though that we also noticed is if you don't quit the game, the instance doesn't reset. So this really gives you the opportunity to hop back into town, repair your gear if necessary, or also make any adjustments that may be needed to help pull you and your party across the finish line and get to World Tier 3 to grind for that better loot, higher experience, and the good stuff in Diablo 4's endgame. Now that you've successfully completed this dungeon, you're going to want to go back to Kyovashad and venture to the World Tier statue. This is the only place in the game that you're able to change the world difficulty, so if you feel that things are too difficult in Nightmare initially, come back to this statue and you can adjust your difficulty settings instantaneously. Another important note here is that if you're playing in a party, because the game and world progress is being dictated by the party leader, it's going to be that person who needs to institute these changes, and all of the other party members will need to accept the changes to revert the status back to, you know, a World Tier 2 or to institute the change to a Nightmare World Tier difficulty. Hopefully this quick video helped you guys. If it did, drop us a like. Let us know in the comments how this went for you. Let us know what build you're rocking to help be able to pull you through this one. Subscribe to Friendly Frenzy Games, where we have a bunch more game content on our YouTube channel, and we look forward to chatting with you guys in the next video.